The content that we're doing is actually coming from the IEDC, the International Economic Development Corporation. And I need to move this out of my way. So ESOs provide the foundation resources that new and growing businesses need. And throughout the country, there are several ways of approaching ESOs. So I'm going to very briefly cover some of the things that the IEDC covered this past month. And here we have Carol Loffer. And, you know, we talk about how, you know, ESOs can provide advice and mentoring, information, education, resources, and networking. There are several types of ESOs. There can be an accelerator, which is a fixed term cohort-based program that puts entrepreneurs through a rigorous process of custom validation, business model creation, and initial product development, and culminates into a demo day, which is what they do in Palo Alto, California. There are incubators aimed at accelerating the successful development of entrepreneurial companies. Incubators provide an array of business support resources and services that are individual and milestone based, and typically they go from 18 to 24-month period. And then there's co-working, and Natalie, I know that you have a local co-working space. Do you want to briefly talk about what you do?
Sorry guys, I'm driving. I realized I left my computer at home. I own Brighton Lavender, which is a flexible office space in downtown Brighton. We also offer co-working. With COVID, we use more of the private offices, so people all have their private space to kind of conduct business, host meetings, meet with clients. And so co-working has kind of evolved. COVID has really accelerated the work from anywhere option for many people. And so that's kind of been what's been fun with co-working. I'm sorry, I can't read the slide, so I don't know exactly what it says, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea.
No problem. I just want to make sure that everyone knows what is available on a local basis. So thank you for jumping in there. And I'm sorry if I put you on the spot while you're driving. Please drive carefully. So co-working, of course, is a style of work that involves shared work, typically office environment, and independent activity. So much like what Natalie was talking about, people are working more and more remotely, but having opportunities such as this to come together and share resources is getting more and more important, I believe, because nobody wants to be an island by themselves. And I believe that people really play off of energy of other people and ideas of other people, and that's how we all grow. And then there's makerspace. So people who have shared interests, they might have different equipment that they require to do what they do. Sometimes it can be very prohibitive, cost prohibitive to go into business if you don't have access to these machines right from the start. So having maker spaces can be very important for different businesses. And so it's just really important to know what the different types of spaces are available. Now, again, I can't see here, just one moment. So Srija, I'm sorry if I'm destroying her name, Srija Ghosh, she hosts over in Ada, Oklahoma. And I think the takeaway here is that early stage startups and small businesses looking to launch a new product line or revisiting their target customers, being in rural communities, not everybody has the same access as maybe being in a large city. So having ESOs is very important. You want to curate a program brand that resonates in your own content or in your own environment, which is much like what our second cup is trying to do here. And you want to remain flexible while retaining a core focus. And She recommends sometimes we have to step back in order to move forward, and patience is key. And Lindsay Kimball, who is out of Hillsborough County, just outside of Tampa, she runs an ESO for nonprofits. They've gotten so huge to the point of hundreds of nonprofits coming together under the same building to do meetups, share resources, collaborate with, there's a lot of crossover many times in the nonprofit world. And they're so big now, they're actually searching for a new building. And I'm going to switch over to Kathleen London, who is going to talk about her experience here locally. Go ahead, Kathleen.
Sorry, I clicked on video instead of audio. So it's honestly, I will say that I was hesitant when I first found out about the program, because I think sometimes the incubators and things like that can be really focused on people who have never been in business or run a business. And once I talked to Molly and we got going, I realized I couldn't have been more wrong about the program. It really is elevated. It is strategic. I would say it's almost like a micro MBA for entrepreneurs and business owners. And the thing that I found incredibly compelling, aside from the what we were given as students in terms of like our BAs and our mentorship programs and our networking, was that people were at many stages of their business. So it didn't matter if you had been in business 60 years and you were looking at maybe updating or creating better processes, or whether you were looking to sell your business because you were getting ready to retire, or whether it was that you were just starting, or every type of business, franchises were represented. And it was an amazing way to not only validate your projections and your financials and everything you were going through, but develop an amazing group of support. And I don't know what the word, I'm blanking for a word today. But it's that networking that you get from that group. So I found it incredibly helpful. I have recommended it to a ton of people. I really think that it has been an invaluable help, and I'm almost done. I get to graduate in a couple of weeks, so I am almost through the wheel. But it was really, really great. I can't say enough about it, and I'd be happy to speak to anyone who's considering participating. Really amazing.
Thank you. So now I'd like to turn it over to Molly O'Mara, and I'll flip through if you want to just.
Thanks, Denise. Yeah, I'll just let you know when we can go to the next slide.
Thank you.
So again, thank you so much, Kathleen, for sharing your experience. And it's hard to really wrap your head around about the 10,000 Small Businesses program when I explain it to potential business or potential scholars, aka business owners. But really what it is a mini MBA where we're using your business as the case study. So we're not talking about theoreticals, we're talking about practical applications from day one. You can go to the next slide, Denise. Mm-hmm. This is me. I can share my contact information. I think was already shared in the chat. Reach out if you have any questions. We can go to the next slide. So really what our approach is we're talking about the mindset with the skill set, right? So you're an entrepreneur. I think it can be learned, right? Entrepreneurship, but most people who are entrepreneurs just have a desire to be their own boss and do something something on their own, as opposed to supporting somebody else's vision. The skill set is most important because really think a lot of business owners get into business because they're passionate about one thing. It might be because you're a great plumber or you're an artist. But what's common is that there's a common language for all business owners, whether that's around financials, marketing, HR, and leadership. And so that's really what creates the value, right? So and then we're putting you into this community of peers, which, Colleen was talking about, and that's really super important as well. We can go to the next slide. So this is a slide about what the curriculum looks like. So the program takes about 14 weeks. We've been doing it online since the beginning of the pandemic. And then at some point, and we get back to more normalcy, we do it in person at Wayne State University in Detroit. And we really pull regionally. So we have business owners participating from Detroit, Toledo, Lansing, Grand Rapids, Brighton. We've had a number of business owners from Brighton participate in the program. So it's not hyper local. It's very much a regional program. And then you're also now in a network of 10,000 other businesses across the country and in the UK as well. So we start in an orientation where you're meeting your peers. So you're in class with about 30 other folks who are at different stages in their business, as Kathleen was describing, but we're all there to learn, the common struggles of entrepreneurs and business owners. So as you can see, we're really starting from, what's your vision of your business? What's your exit strategy? On day 2, we talk about your exit strategy because all business owners need one. You may not have thought about it, but that doesn't matter. You don't want to, you don't want to have an end goal. And I always say entrepreneurs, deserve to retire as well. And as Denise and I were talking about, that's so important because, if you are a retail business in a small downtown area and you just decide to shutter, what does that do for your community? So you can think about ways of, hey, I either want to make this a cooperative for my employees, or maybe I'm identifying somebody on my team. Whatever that exit strategy is for you, we want you to think about that. We take you through money and metrics. This is a real deep dive into your financial statements. And that's why the 2 years of being in business is so important. We talk about your leadership style and your team in 2 separate modules, and then marketing and selling, and then operations and processes, which is very key to scaling your business, right? Because we're really interested in businesses growing in order for them to increase their revenues, but also increase their employment. Small business owners really are the #1 employer in the country, and you guys deserve a lot of credit for that. And as you can see, there's these little offshoots, clinics, and then, so we do 2 negotiations clinics. I'm sure Kathleen can share her experience with you about those. Those are pretty intense, but a great opportunity to understand your negotiation style and how negotiations can really be a positive thing as opposed to adversarial, right? Where maybe you hadn't thought about both parties being able to get, come to the table and get what they need, and then, walk away and then be able to come back and do business in the future. We have a legal clinic, so attorneys come in and help you with any acute legal issues you're going through at that point, or that you foresee in the future. And then we wrap it up with a pitch at the end, and which is Kathleen is getting ready for next week. We also talk about advocacy and how small businesses can advocate for their needs within their communities, or at a larger scale as well. I was talking to one of our business owners the other day, and she said she advocated for, oh gosh, I'm trying to think, of course I'm going to blank on it, but she basically got her contract extended for herself and all the other businesses that were on this government contract. And so, there really is power in numbers, and identifying who you advocate, start that conversation with and advocate for, and to is important. We can go to the next slide, Denise. So these are just some statistics. And I think they're powerful. I mean, I think we all have a you know, data is a big deal now, but 67% of the business owners do. They grow their revenue within 6 months. And the number is higher at 18 months. Sometimes people find that at 6 months, they're kind of reshuffling things, and they're really starting to rebuild their foundation in order to grow and scale. You know, they're creating jobs, and 91% of the business owners are doing business together because then they speak a common language. And I think that's really important. And even if it's not, you know, B2B business, you may be buying t-shirts for your child's sports team, you know, with one of the other businesses. That looks a lot different in many cases. We can go to the next slide. So for a no-cost program, you do have to go through a rigorous application and interview process, but there is no cost to 10,000 small businesses. And the graduation rate speaks for itself, right? We have very little drop off. So people in our referrals are really the best referrals we get are from our graduates. And so as Kathleen said, she's already recommended other people take advantage of this opportunity. So I'll just end here. I want to open it up to questions. I'm sure I've missed a lot of key details, but really, if you're interested in the program, you can reach out to me. The part 1 application only takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So I encourage you to just take that time and fill that out. And then if you meet our minimal criteria of being 2 years in business, having 2 employees, and that does include yourself, the business owner. And we get to 2 employees pretty creatively, right? So if it's you and 2 part-timers or you and 3 contractors, you know, it looks different for different types of businesses. Our application deadline for the fall cohort is June 3rd. And so make sure you get in that part 1 application before June 3rd in order to be considered for that program.
When does the fall program start?
The fall program starts in September. Typically, it's just after Labor Day. Does anybody have any questions for me? Or Kathleen, feel free to add anything I missed. But really, I think that a real strong takeaway is that peer learning piece. You also get a business mentor, a business advisor, we call them, and they are really an accountability partner for you. Time commitment is significant. So we say over those 14 weeks, it's about 200 hours worth of work. So you're in class. Kathleen, how much time are you spending on the, you know, in your group meetings about?
So we probably spend 8+ hours a week. So maybe round it up to about 10 hours a week in an actual thing, like with our group, with our business mentor, in the classes Monday and Friday. And then clinic days can vary. I mean, so it is a significant time commitment, but I have to tell you, like, I feel a little in the weeds right now. Confessions for the end and the pitch and everything else. But honestly, it's been amazing. And so you carve this time out to work. Molly, you know the phrase, you're working on your business instead of
not in your business,
right? Like we can turn that into some sort of like mantra, but it really is the time you carve out for this class ultimately becomes time that you carry forward with. Like I've already noticed that like this week we're supposed to be working on our business plans, but I've already begun carving this time out and delegating so that I can be working on my network, my growth, reaching out to former, business people that I knew and really creating plans. So it's a lot of time. I'm not going to lie. It's at the beginning, you feel completely overwhelmed, but honestly, it's the best time you can spend. So amazing.
Yeah, I will agree. It's a time commitment, but like Kathleen said, you're working on your business and ultimately that's the best time you can spend, right? So Natalie is wondering more about qualifications. So you have to be a business, we're industry agnostic, But if it doesn't fall within like the legal business structures of the federal government, then those don't qualify. So no marijuana businesses. I think I'm trying to think something else. But so any kind of business that you have, retail or gosh, service-based businesses, it doesn't matter. And then, so if you've started your business entity with two or more years ago from the start date of the program, and then your revenue, minimum revenue is $100,000 annually. We do have some flexibility with that number. Sometimes, depending if you're an early stage business and you're in a specific industry like food production, we'll consider you when you're even like at $70,000 or $75,000 a year. And then the employees. I hesitate to recommend the program to solopreneurs, so really people who are it's just a team of one, because so much of the program is based on leadership and, building your team and HR. And if you have a team, it's better for that information not to be hypothetical, right? You may be assuming you're going to have a team in the future, but going through this, it's real practical application. Once you're learning it, you're implementing it. And so waiting till you hire your next employee or your first employee is not always, I think you just would get more out of it if you had employees.
Great.
Hey, Molly, I got a quick question here. Craig Bishop, I'm with TCF Bank. And I'm curious, is this program focused solely what I refer to as first generation owners, or is this open to those? I see head shaking. That's good.
Yeah, a lot of our participants are being groomed to take over the family business. I assume that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've had some clients who are, let's say, second and third generation owners who continue to run the business the way mom and dad did and grandma and grandpa did, just because that's how we did it. And we all know the world has changed. And this was a company that's been in business for well over 70 years. And we saw them kind of heading towards the wall, but they didn't feel that way. It goes back to your screen of the 10 plus steps. They didn't know what they didn't know until they got into a program. They went into a different program. But I think a lot of the steps that you showed kind of touch on what they're going through, and they realized, well, hey, maybe the bankers were right after all, that we needed to get some assistance and some guidance here. So, okay.
Yeah, some of our most successful businesses are those that are those second or third generation business owners, because you have a business structure, you have a lot of information, but just because dad did it that way doesn't mean his daughter needs to do it the same way, right? I have about 4 or 5 businesses that come to mind. We had a 100-year-old lumber yard come through the program, right? A young woman, probably in her 30s at the time, and she was a 3rd or 4th generation. And she was like, I need to figure out my way to do this and be, the leader that I need to be, just because my family's been doing this all along. And I think it gives the parent or the young, whatever the next stage up is, confidence that, the next generation is taking it seriously. So it's a opportunity for.
And Molly, I was going to hop in. One of the things that was amazing, and I've seen every single scholar in my cohort really resonated for, was finding a bank that gets what you're doing. So you may not be with the right bank. And actually, the woman who did our negotiations clinic made that point. Like, if they don't get what you're doing, they're not your banker. Like, move on. And just like, not every client is my client. Not every business flows tightly together. But when you find that synergy, and that's one of the things I feel like the Goldman program helps with, is helping you find synergy. Like, there's no point as a small business owner for me to be banking with Chase. They don't care about me. I mean, I'm not trying to call out Chase, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't I work with a local bank that makes, is going to understand my business, that maybe if I was a 100-year-old business knew my parents. And so they could give me that great advice, right? And I think that's one of the things Goldman does, is help you connect some of those dots so that you are likely to have a relationship at a bank with a realtor, with a, whomever, that makes sense for you.
So, and as the banker, I don't take offense to that whatsoever. And because you're right, because it has to work both ways. You're absolutely correct.
And I think it gets forgotten, right? Like, because I moved here from a big city, so I was with a big city bank, but that didn't make sense for me here. And it was really, it's a big part of this, is understanding. I like, there's someone in my cohort that she has this business and she's been struggling with it and trying to make it better because somebody else ran it before her. Same kind of thing. Like, someone else was running it and now it's up to her. And she's like, and it's changing banks. It's changing, or heck, just having a relationship with your bank. That's the new one for most of us. Like, oh, you mean I should go in and meet my banker?
You should, absolutely, you should.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
But
we
who
really
thinks
encourage
about it?
folks to have a business banking relationship before
Yeah,
you get the money, right?
Correct.
So,
it's
and
huge.
so true. I mean, I went through the program in 2016 and have since sold my business. But I took my financials, my 5-year projections, to the bank the week I graduated, and the banker was like, "Yeah, we'll give you that money," because there was a story there, right? And so I think that your story and your passion is part of the equation. It's not just about numbers, but certainly as a banker, you want them to know their numbers, and so that's where that comes in.
It's great synergy, really, for banks and small businesses and local connections. It's really amazing.
Any other questions for Molly this morning? All right, we're gonna.
Oh, let me just say one thing. So if you're applying online, so 10ksbapply.com, like I said, that first part application only takes about 15 minutes, but it is going to ask you if you have a referral source, and please refer the city of Brighton in there. We really like to track, where our applicants are coming from. And so just make sure it's city of Brighton if you do apply.
Perfect. Thanks, Molly.
Thank you.
Now we're going to introduce Shawn Priessle. So, as you know, the Goldman Sachs is quite intensive and very demanding. Shawn Priessle is working with the SBDC of Greater Washtenaw region. And my understanding, Shawn, is that you are there when businesses need you. And so it's a little less intensive if people need it to be that way. Is that correct?
Sure. Yeah, we can work with people for, an hour or the whole life of their business. It's really depending on what the client needs, and that's how we serve them. So SBDC has 11 regional offices. We're all over the state. So we are funded by the SBA and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, as well as local partners. So like I mentioned before, our office is at Washtenaw Community College. So they help support us. And Michigan Works too. They are also involved in the support of our organization. We have 120 counselors throughout the state and various team members. So we go to the next. So our mission, we provide counseling, training, and research to assist small business to launch, grow, transition, and innovate. So we kind of break our groups up into 4 categories. We have new ventures, which there probably aren't many on this call, but we work with existing businesses, growth companies. So our growth companies, we kind of consider that second stage company, about $1 million in sales. So we have a team of people that assist with that. And then we help with some advanced tech companies too. So the best part about SBDC is that we provide no cost business counseling, and it's usually one-on-one. We do have other business education, but most of our counseling is one-on-one. So we can tailor our counseling to the needs of the client. We do a lot of market research. We have a great team out of Grand Valley. And then we also help with tech commercialization. We have a tech team that specializes in that and can help with grant writing and connect you with investors and really help get that product to market. A lot of times when we think of tech commercialization, we think of medical devices. It's probably one of the biggest areas that our tech team works in, as well as they've been doing a lot of aerospace things as well. There's kind of an aerospace contingent in Michigan as of late. So again, it's free and confidential. If you register for counseling, it creates a confidentiality agreement between the SBDC and the client. So we don't share any information with anybody without your permission. But the best part, or the most important part, is that it's client driven. Our counseling is client driven. So it's tailored to you. Whatever you need, we can help you with. So for example, we see a lot of clients who start businesses. They're an expert in their field and they come to us and may not have really thought about financial management. So we can really focus on that key element. I'm not going to be able to help you bake the bread if you're a baker, but I really can help you with the financial management part of your business. In my opinion, the finances is what drives the company. You can write a business plan, but that financial projection is what is really going to drive you. And it actually helps write the rest of your plan. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later. But we can work with you for whatever length of time that you need us. So sometimes I work with a client, they have a business idea. We work on the business plan, the financial projections. You form your LLC, you launch your business, and you may be good for a while. Other companies, they want to work with us continually. We like to work with clients continually until they're to the point of selling the company. But we let you drive the ship here and tell us what you actually need. Because we have 120 consultants throughout this state, we consider ourselves business generalists, but there's almost always an expert in something. Many of us have had businesses. I owned a business for 9 years prior to working for SBDC. So at least half of the people that are in our organization are former business owners. We have a lot of people that were financial analysts in accounting and former bankers. So we're divided into 4 teams, although a lot of us overlap. So we have a small business team, which I'm a part of. So I work mostly with, some startups and small businesses, those who are in business and haven't really reached that kind of transition stage yet. We have a business growth team. So a lot of times when businesses are looking into expansion, or they've hired a team large enough now that they really need to consider HR. They've kind of been doing, as entrepreneurs, we tend to do a lot of the work ourselves until we get to the point where we can't handle it anymore. And our business growth team can really help pivot with that and help you develop an HR program within your organization, really help with that expansion and that growth. We help with export assistance too. So if you're a product-based business and you're looking to export, and I always mention Canada is another country, so we even consider Canada. We have an export team that can assist with that process. That we collaborate with Michigan Economic Development Corporation. So it's part of their strategic plan to help Michigan-based businesses export. So there's some grants available. They're actually one of the easier grants to get outside of the whole COVID relief grant, but the export grants are probably the easier ones to get. So we can help you with that and help you really set yourself up to export your product. And again, our tech commercialization team can help you with some of that grant writing for those advanced products that you're trying to get to market. Next slide. So in 2020, we had, it was an interesting year. I'm sure everybody's feeling the same way. So what's interesting here is for our region, the 6 counties that we represent, we did help start 62 businesses in 2020. So if you think about it, that's kind of amazing considering the pandemic and how it affected so many businesses. We helped with over $40 million in capital formation. So that means money coming into businesses to help them either launch, grow, or even survive the pandemic. We had over 6,000 counseling hours. It was a unique year. As the pandemic hit in March, our team was basically on the phone for the first 3 months, 10 to 12 hours a day. We had more clients register for counseling in that time than we did in that quarter than we did the entire year of 2019. So it was a crazy year, but we were still able to create jobs and to have business starts in such a unique year.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So services for new ventures, we can take you from idea to launch, which means that we do an LLC workshop, and I always present a slide at the LLC workshop because when people come to that workshop, they're ready to start their business. But if we look at we have a layout of the steps to take for a business, that forming your LLC is step 6. So we really want to help businesses focus on, let's have an idea. Let's make sure it's a viable business. We'll help you with the market research. We'll build a pro forma and financial statements to see if what you think that you need to invest can be cash flowed in your business. We review the business plan, and we really set you up for success. As I'm sure people have heard the statistics, most businesses fail within the first 2 years, and 50% fail within the first 2 years, and the second 50%, 25% fail before the next 10 years. So we really want to help you set up for success. All right, now we can go to the next one. So one area that we help with is market research. So we have a team out of Grand Valley State University that helps us with our market research. So some of the areas I want to highlight is search engine optimization reports. So if you have a website, you haven't really looked at the analytics, we can run a report for you and then help guide you to make changes to your website that will drive more traffic there. The other area is creating customer lists. I recently had a client who's trying to kind of pivot her business and needed to really reach out to a different clientele base. And our research team was able to put together a pretty comprehensive list of leads for her so that she could reach out to those and kind of go down the path that she was planning. So we have all kinds of business education. We have done a lot of in-person in the past. Right now, obviously, we're all online. So we have a huge on-demand library. So you can register at michigansbdc.org. I'm sorry, sbdcmichigan.org, and take advantage of all of those on-demand workshops. But we also do have live webinars on a variety of topics. So again, you can go to our website and check those out too. Anywhere from legal issues to starting a business to forming your LLC. So we have services for existing business as well. A lot of times, I have a note here that says, you've probably heard the phrase, a lot of times business owners work in the business and not on the business. So I want to thank Kathleen and Molly for bringing that up because it's so important. People get so wrapped up in working in the business and they're just working really hard, but they just don't really set goals for themselves. They know they want to get somewhere, but they don't really have the path to get there. So we can work with you to really help build that path. We can look at benchmarks. I think it's so important to look at what the industry averages are in your business businesses similar to yours to see how you're doing. You know, we've worked with restaurants and their cost of goods are 40% and the industry average is 30%. And that 10% really turns you from in the red to in the black. So looking at all of those things and helping you make changes, doing strategic planning with you to make changes to your business, to make you, well, basically more profitable, but to make your life a little bit easier and to really help you form goals to drive your business forward. So we have this, sorry, the dog's sitting outside my door and I won't let him in. But anyway, so we've recently developed this small business field guide called Focus Forward. It was developed by our growth team, and it's a program to help you grow your business faster with less chaos. So we work on really looking at what your vision, your mission, and your core values are as a business. We look at a strategic plan. We help you with your cash flow, and we really help you build a dashboard to help you grow your business. It's a great program. Our growth team and our small business team have been helping businesses implement that in the last 6-ish months. And we've seen some great results, just clients who are really pleased with. Now they have a plan that can help move their business forward instead of just kind of spinning their wheels like they do doing the everyday daily grind. So the financial analysis part is probably my favorite part, and it's kind of nerdy to say, but I really do like the numbers. I like building cash flow statements and financial plans for companies because it really gives them an idea of, okay, if I want to grow my business, these are the things that I need to do to make changes to make changes to my business and to move that business forward. And a lot of things, if you can produce financial statements, but you don't know how to read them, they're really not very valuable. So we can look at financial statements as well and say, all right, you're growing your business. You're at this point where you need an HR person. So based on your financial statements, we can see that you need to increase your sales by X to be able to afford this person. So a lot of times people are like, oh, $40,000 a year to hire this HR person. I just need to increase my sales by $40,000. That's never the case. So we can help you really analyze that and give you a solid number to work to be able to hire that person. And same goes with if you're moving to a bigger space or you're ready to buy a building and things like that. So I like to help you look at the numbers and really help develop a plan to move forward. So I spend a lot of time, and it seems like recently, with loan preparation. So clients right now are really looking to buy buildings. I'm seeing more of that than I have in the past. So I can help with loan preparation. And as Kathleen mentioned before, not all banks are looking for the same kind of deals. So we do have a lot of connections with different lenders to help you identify the right bank for you. And we kind of vet those out for you. We set you up to present a loan package that if I don't feel like your loan package isn't going to make it through the lending process, I'm not going to send you to a lender. I'm going to help you work on a plan that's really going to be successful in that situation. And I'm also going to set you up with a lender that'll work for you, like Kathleen mentioned. And again, not throwing Chase under the bus, but Chase isn't the right bank for small businesses. So there are a lot of banks that are, and a lot of banks that are interested in maybe working with assisted living facilities, or, well, not very many are interested in restaurants at the moment, but there's a lot of different banks that are interested in different things. And some banks right now are a little bit hungrier than other banks as far as lending and growing their portfolio. So we can help you get that loan package together and present it to a bank that would be interested in your loan. Again, exporting, the nice thing about the export grant that we can help you apply for if you are exporting is that, again, it's an easier grant to get, but it can help you develop a website that's user-friendly in different countries. It can help you with travel if you need to go out of the country for any sort of marketing experiences. It can benefit you to help increase your sales overseas. So if you have, I am definitely not an export expert, but we have a team of people that really can help set you up for success in exporting your product. So again, just to recap, we provide one-on-one, no-cost business counseling. Because we're funded through SBA, MEDC, and for our office, Michigan Works, it's no cost. It's prepaid with your tax dollars. We really create our counseling around your specific business. So whatever your needs are, we can help you with that. We can help you build a strategic plan. We support you throughout the life of your business if that's what you want. I get questions all the time like, oh, hey, this happened to come up. What do you think? And it could be a client I haven't heard from in 6 months, but I'm available and for support. And I'm more than happy to provide that assistance as well as the other 120 consultants in our state. We can always refer back to benchmarks to make sure that you're still aligned with industry averages or potentially doing better. I guess that's the goal. Looking at your website every couple of years to make sure that you're optimized and help you make changes with that. And again, if as you grow and expand and you need another loan package, we can help you with that too. So thank you. And I'm open for questions.
Shawn, this is Molly. I just want to, I don't really have a question. I just want to thank you because the SBDC has been an amazing partner for our 10,000 Small Businesses program. We have Dan Brophy. He's more on this side of the region. I'm based out of Detroit, but the Focus 4 program is incredible, and I love what and that's that's unique to Michigan. And I think that's really, the SBDC in Michigan is really, I think, one of the best resources a business owner can take advantage of.
Thank you. And I'm glad you know Dan. Dan is on our growth team, and I'm sure he probably refers clients to your program as well. I think it's a great fit. I think that the Goldman Sachs programs really sets people up for success. And, we have that kind of contingency program that surrounds that. It's like a wraparound service. So I think we work so well together.
I don't have a question, but more of a comment just to kind of to back you guys up. When a business customer comes into the bank and they've got that business plan in hand, and I can say I've dealt with a couple customers firsthand from the SBDC, not you personally, Shawn, but from that group, that paves the way. That makes my job so much easier and tells me you've already done your homework. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not being paid by Shawn or by Molly to support them, but I'm here to tell you when the business owner has done their homework, what's the old line? You spend more time planning your vacation than you do your business, but you really help the banker. It's a win-win deal. And again, it goes back to the relationship that that Kathleen talked about earlier. That makes everyone's life a lot easier as we go forward. So I just wanted to give you my full endorsement of what both of you are doing.
Well, thank you. And I'm sure Molly would agree. We wouldn't send someone to a lender without them having a strong feeling that they could get a loan, whether it's through your bank, if you're interested in that sort of loan, or a different bank. I'm not going to send someone. I like to create relationships so that you, like Craig, you could trust that if I send a client to you, that they're ready for lending. Yes. So I kind of hold those tight to my vest because I want to make sure that those relationships remain strong. But we work with clients to get to that point. And if they don't meet the criteria, then we really do help them develop a plan that gets them to that lending stage. I have a great example. I had a client who wanted to expand her business. When I first met her, her books were in a disarray. She was not profitable. And she's like, I'm ready to expand. And, you know, basically the answer was, you're really not ready. Here are the things that you need to do. And she worked for 3 years to really turn her business around. We cut some costs, we cut some overhead, we raised prices. And people think, I can't raise prices, people will be upset. Nobody blinks an eye. A lot of times when you're not profitable in the type of business that she has, it's because she's not charging enough. So we got her all straightened around. She ended up expanding and was able to get $1 million loan for this expansion. And now she's very profitable and she's doing great. But she went from day one wanting this loan to 3 years later actually getting it. And that's the part that set her up for success, was spending those 3 years to really turn herself around as a business.
So Shawn, I had a question. I moved here from out of state, and when I was first looking to get my business location and get started and do everything, I reached out to the SBA, not the SBDC, and got somebody who was going to help facilitate things, and it ended up being a disaster. And I'm not being critical. It seemed like maybe I wasn't funneled in the right way. So
Okay.
how, if I had somebody, or if I were doing that again, how would I get in touch with you guys? Like, how do you know how to tell people where to go? Like, how do you do that? Because I thought, like, oh, SBA, you know, like I Googled it, I went in through that door because that one made the most sense. So how do people find you guys as a resource when they're just looking for the first time?
Right. So we joke that SBDC, the S stands for secret. We really are trying to do a better job of marketing ourselves as an organization to provide our services. I mean, we're always looking for clients like you to assist. So we are working on that. Going to our website, once you register for counseling and you choose the county in which you live, you're assigned to a consultant or assigned to a region where those consultants actually work in that area. So I'm not sure where SBA sent you originally, but you know, going forward, I know this isn't helping anybody else you talk to, but you're more than welcome to reach out directly to me, as well as anybody else that you come across. If they need services, they can reach out directly to me and I can help them. I've been doing this for 6 years. I've had a lot of really good results. Last year, I think I helped I think we had 62 of that, 35 starts came from me alone. So I do work a lot in that kind of small business arena, getting those business started and helping them with loan applications and funding opportunities. So you can refer directly to me, but going through our website and selecting the county in which you live should get you to the right place.
Okay. Yeah. I just wondered because I had didn't come across you at all when I first opened. And I'm so sad now because I feel like I missed out on an amazing set of resources and had to bootstrap it in a way that I might not have had to
Right.
when I moved here at the beginning. So I think it's so valuable. Like, what an amazing resource. I just want to make sure other people don't have to go through what I went through.
Right. And I appreciate that feedback, and I'm going to bring that up on our Friday meeting. So just to clarify, so SBA, we're funded through SBA, and people get a little bit confused about what the SBA does because they don't really do a great job of saying exactly what they do. And right now they're really known for this pandemic relief, but the SBA supports lending institutions. So they guarantee loans for banks for startups and small businesses. So you may go to the bank and apply for the loan, and the bank might say, oh, your plan looks pretty good, but you have a little bit of shortfall in either collateral or cash or whatever it is that they're looking for. So then they would go to the SBA for that SBA guarantee. The client doesn't ever talk to the SBA. It all goes through the lending institution. So a lot of times people go to the SBA saying, oh, I'd like a loan, and they kind of send you down a path that might not make sense. So I think they need to do a little bit better job of explaining that part to you, or to anyone who approaches them, that they're not actually the lender that the bank is. But with SBDC, we know what the SBA looks like, and we know that companies, banks like Craig's, what they're looking for as far as loan packaging, and we can help. And we can usually tell you, yeah, you're probably going to have to go the SBA route, but the lending institution makes that decision, that final decision, where like, oh yeah, you're a little bit off here or there, you're too new or whatever. So we're going to get that guarantee from the SBA.
I am so glad that we recorded this session so that everything can be shared and you don't have to be a secret anymore.
Thank you.
Because I can see Kathleen's going to send this out to about 100 people. I can see her wheels turning, and it really is amazing to see how everything comes together. And I really appreciate your time, and I hope that people do take the time to reach out to both of you, depending on where they are in their business cycle. And I do need to wrap this up. I don't know if Zoom is just going to kick us off, so I want to really quickly make a few announcements. We have launched our Small Town Big Hearts within the city of Brighton. And so Shop Local is on Tuesdays, Eat Local is on Thursdays. Patronicity has launched as well. If you have questions or concerns, please reach out to Henry or to me. The Michigan STEM Forward information session is this afternoon. So if you're interested in hiring internships for the summer, the state of Michigan's working with Ann Arbor Spark in order to provide funding for internships, and it's worth up to $3,000 per intern if you are in a STEM program, and depending on the job description that you're providing and if it's full-time. And so please tune into that if you feel that that would apply to your business. And the Livingston County Economic Forecast will be next week, April 13th from 10 to 11:30. And this is a first for Livingston County. It's hosted by University of Michigan, their economic group. And they've done this, I've been watching them do this for years in Washtenaw County. It'll be really interesting to see how we compare to Livingston County. And so we're looking forward to that. Please check the chat room. The links for all of these are located there, as well as the contact information for our speakers today. And I appreciate everybody participating. And Henry, do you want to launch the poll?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. All right, polling is now live.
And so, and also just a reminder that our next session is going to be May 13th, Riding the Green Wave. And our second cup series is the second Thursday of every month for the entire year. And we certainly hope that more people, please share this. And, we want as many people to participate and take advantage of all these great programs that we are able to provide to you. And again, Shawn and Molly and Kathleen, thank you so much for your time this morning. And I hope that everyone has a fantastic week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.